Hello everyone, the Clouds here, and today guys I'm going to review a Bionicle set released in 2009. It is going to be one of the two Titan sets released this year because, well, there were also some other big box set sets, but that was mainly vehicles sets. So today I'm going to review Toa Matanui, and because this is a friend's set, not mine, I do not have the box or the instruction booklet. I don't really know where they are, but that's not really important. So let's just skip to the set itself, Toa Matanui, which was also, if I'm correct, a special edition set, at least it was quite rare to find in shops and stores. So as you can see here, the kind of the frame, and I've put off some armors to show you how exactly everything works. So, well, let's just move on to the body frame first, and well, excuse me, here we go. So as you can see, the body frame is made with a long technique beam right there, which is linked to some vacky pelvis part right there, which will be useful to link a part of the legs. As you can see, you can also notice there's two little white parts right there, which will be quite useful for two reasons. The first one is because thanks to this pinhole right there, we're going to be able to link this part here and on the back. And this part will be helpful to make the legs stronger and to make them all stronger and to give them some articulations, or at least make them solid and make them make them so they can support the weight of the upper side of the body. So as you can see, we got two on each side. And also this lightweight part will be useful to link this part, as you can see, the technique beams, which will be useful for two reasons. Once again, first is to link this Ardica arm, which will be useful to link the real arm of Toa Matanui right there, so thanks to the ball joint here. Also, because we're going to use this axle hole to link this part, which will be useful to link the neck or connector plus the head, as you can see. And finally, because as you can see, between these two technique beams, we're going to link this part, which will help to make the arm stronger thanks to a second connector. And so that's all the body frame works. I think there is nothing really to talk about. You can notice the Borog Cal armor put here. I guess it's to kind of fill the hole. Fill the hole behind this part, well, between this type of parts. And apart from that, that's all. So let's put some armors on this guy. There is not really that much because the first one is going to be this part. So most of the yellow parts in this set are recolors, are not really new. They appeared in other sets, if I'm correct. Most of these yellow parts, so I can't really say which one is new, which one is not new, but most of them were already released before. And now I just have, excuse me, guys, to link this part right there to cover this section. Okay. Okay, let me just put the camera right there so I can easily put the parts here. Here we go. And finally, a last part is going to be this one, so which comes in gold, because yes, the color scheme is mostly kit orange and also old yellow. So you will have the two type of yellows in this set, which can be a little disturbing, plus dark gray, plus black, and also some touch of yellow. And I think this part goes like that. Maybe it goes in the other way, like this. I'm not really sure. Well, excuse me guys, it's not my set, and that's quite the first time I built this one, so I guess it goes like that, but I'm not really that sure. So if I made a mistake with this part and all the way you're supposed to put it, let me know in the comments section. And that's all for the body frame, because it might seem a little thin and really armorless, but that's how it works. It's like that. So now let's move on to the legs if you want. And even if you don't really want, I have to move to the legs like the way, so I guess I'm going to, yes, just let the camera like that. So first we're going to begin with these connectors that we have already seen before, because it was linked to the vacuum pelvis. As you can see, we're going to add two more connectors to link to this ball joint right there. So from this part that we have also already seen before. And then we're going to put some kind of a custom leg, in fact, because we're going to put this little technique part right there. This one, which comes from the Schrober's sub-seam, which was an old sub-seam from the Lego Technique seam. As you can see, we have some other parts right there. And in fact, first we're going to use this technique beam, which is an L-shaped technique beam, even if you can't really see it, but it's shaped like an L. And we're going to use this part to link some armor part, which will be a metro fit. So we're going to, excuse me, put this part like that. And so we can block this part, we're going to put these little pieces. And here we go, that's all for this section. So now let's look down, and now we have other parts. So as you can see, we got two ball joints, so really make a big leg and a strong one, so it really holds pretty well. We're going to find once again this type of parts which are linked right here, in fact, excuse me, right there, and which will be helpful once again to make the articulation stronger, so it's so that the model do not fall on itself, which was which was the case on the 2005 Titans. And so we have this part, and once again it looks quite armorless. That's because we're going to put these two big parts, which were first released in 2008, and in fact they were also released in this color in 2008 as part of the Jetwax T6, if I'm correct, T6 yellow edition. So we're going to put this part like that, thanks to the axle, which, as you can see, kind of pop out on the sides. And now we're going to put, thanks to this T-shaped part, this gold part right here. As you can see, it's linked. It is linked with a dark gray part, and I think that's quite all for this thing. So let's move on to the foot right now. As you can see, it's pretty simple: two connectors and then two technique beams and some parts to link the things together. You can also notice the Borg eyes, but firstly, it's not really that important. And we're going once again to cover this part with first some metro fit once again. So as you can see, we can see the parts. So we're going to put, as you can see, we have already some parts in there. Excuse me. It will, and the light gray part will slide through the hole from the yellow part. Second metro fit. Excuse me, guys. Like that. And finally, the last part. It will be this Inika foot, and it will be linked right there on this part. And well, that's all for the legs, guys. So let's move on now to the arms, and then we'll talk about the weapons quite quickly, and that will be all for this, for the construction part of this review. So you can see we have a double custom connector, kind of, because this means we're going to use two normal connectors and link them thanks to this big technique parts. And on this part, we're going to, of course, put some armors. First is this one. So it's a Montax claw, if I'm correct, but I may be a little off, but I think it comes from Montax. I don't really know if it was released before in yellow, by the way. Maybe in other sim from Lego. Here we go, and this part, which can be found in the original Matanuve, because remember, Matanuve was already released as a canister set before being released in this form, in this Titan form. So then you can continue on the arm. As you can see, we have a traditional helical leg used as an arm, and then we have some more interesting thing, because we're going to have some articulated ends which are made with some connectors, and then some of these parts, you can see some little technique parts which you can move if you want, right there. And before we put the weapon, I'm going to show you this. So yes, before, well, I will do this thing later on. First, the sword looks like that. As you can see, quite simple. A Jailer from 2007 sword. Then this part, and well, that's quite all. It will be linked on this end, and thanks to this pinhole. Like that. I will, of course, show you everything when I'm done with the model. And then we have a more interesting part is shield, as you can see. And you can notice the Tornax launcher at the end, which can be fired quite easily like that. And it will fire the little part right here. And as you can see, you can also move these things if you want up to this point. It will be, excuse me guys, it will be blocked thanks to this part. But apart from that, it's quite simple to build this little shield. Well, this little, not that much, but it's quite easy to build it. And so I'm going to put that on one of the connectors, accept all, right there. Finally, I'm going to put 2 life counter linked thanks to some Metro web cage. These things will be linked on the back. Here we go, right there. Finally, the mask, which is in fact an exclusive free color to this set because this is the Ignica, so the Mask of Life, which was already released before in 2008 with the Toa Ignica set, but this is the first time that it comes in gold because with the Toa Ignica set it came in silver, and also it was re-released in the new mod with the Matanu Canister set, and it was yellow, but that was not the same mod. So here it's the old mod and it comes in yellow, which is quite cool, because that's the kind of the true color, if I can say, the true color of the Mask of Life. Well, at least in my opinion. And here we go, we have finished Toa Matanu. As you can see, he is quite big. And well, I'm going to do a sum up. Well, no, it's not a sum up for now, but I'm going to do a turnaround first. Excuse me, guys. Turnaround, and then we'll talk about the articulations. And here we go. And now let's move on to the articulations. I think it will be quite hard to show you everything because it's quite hard to show you things that big. So, well, first the articulations right there on the waist, So, as you can see, on the hips. So we got some buttons, so you can move these things up to this point, and you can't move it higher because as you can see, it blocks on the butt joint. You can also move this on the sides if you want, and you can move this thing back up to this point, which is really cool. So it works quite nice on the rear, on the back, not that much if you move it on the front. As you can see, it blocks quite easily. Then you have the knee, and in fact the knee and the feet are quite linked together, and so this means you can move this thing up to 90 degrees, but you have to move the feet like that, the foot, excuse me, like that. So here we go, you can move these things max to 90 degrees, as you can see. And then you got the foot, or the feet, and well, once again, because this part is linked to this one, you can move the foot like that, but you have to move the rest of the leg. For example, if you want to do that, you have to move the legs like that. You can't put the knee at 90 degrees and let the foot like that. You can do that. You can move this thing on the side also, and you can move this thing up without any big problems. Then we have the rest of the body. So, excuse me, guys. The arms. So you will not really see anything like that. You won't really see that much because it's quite hard to show you. But for the arms, it's quite simple. You can move this thing up to this point. If I'm correct, yes, like that. Move this thing on the rear section up to this point, right there, without any problems. Then you have the elbow, which can be really moved up all the way, as you can see. So it's really cool. And then you have the hand, of course, which is quite free, except except if you want to move it down on the rear section, on the back, excuse me. And then you have the hand, so I'm going to show you the hand. Here we go. Which got, of course, articulated fingers, so this means you can move the hand like that if you want, for example, up to this point. And then you have 4 articulated fingers, so the first one can be moved on the sides like that, also up and down if you want, plus the articulations right there, which can be moved like that. So one rotation point per finger. Well, 3 for this one, but 1 for the 3 other fingers. It works like that, and it works quite perfectly. Then you have the shield. So like I said, it can fire the Tornax bow, if I can say so, and also can be opened and closed like that. For the second arm, it's exactly the same, and well, the sword do not have any articulations. Then you have the head which can look down a little, up, and on the sides without any problems. And that's all for the articulations, guys. So I'm going to do a little sum up of this set. I'm just going to first do a little pause. At least try to make a pause. And I think we are okay with this guy, or excuse me. There we go. So excuse me for the webcam. I can't really put it on some things. So well, I can't really. Yeah, it should just be like that. Or maybe, excuse me, I'm going to try something. Oh yeah, that's already better. So here we go. Excuse me for this little waste of time, guys. So yes, let's move on quickly to the sum up. So first, the color scheme. So as you can see, we have different type of yellows. It looks good, but some people might complain about the lack, well, in fact not the lack, but the fact that LEGO decided to put 2 yellows and do not try to make some recolors of the old yellow parts in kit orange. Because well, if you have good eyes, you can directly spot the difference between the two types of yellow, the difference of shade. So it might be a little problem. Then personally, I would also complain about the gold, because the gold was a good idea, but it was just used on 3 pieces of armor plus the helmet. So I'm not really sure about these things. I mean, it's okay, but it could have maybe added some other gold parts in there, some other golden parts. I don't really know. For the rest, it's black, dark gray, and silver, which are of course your usual colors. They look quite okay in this set. They kind of mix well, I think, with the rest of the set, and there is no big problems. So yes, overall it's a good color scheme, but I think really it could have been a little improved and maybe a little less colors, because the gold is cool, but well, you don't really just put some other golden parts if you want to use gold in a set like that. So yeah, it's okay, but I think it really could have been a little better and looks cooler. And well, then you have the parts selection. So the parts selection is quite great, because you got, of course, many yellow and kit orange parts, which is always cool. Even if most of the parts are not really new, at least you got many of them in this set. So for example, you got 3 parts like that, 2 parts like that, 4 parts like that, which are quite rare, 6 parts like that, 3 parts like that. So as I can say, you really got many parts. For the other colors, well, you got some silver parts, which are okay, and most of all you got the Ignica in gold, which is an exclusive free color to this set. So it's quite cool to have one finally after these years. And also it can be useful for the ball joints, because you really got tons of 2006 ball joints, which are really cool for mockers who want to make some custom bodies, arms and legs. So yes, many ball joints in this set also, many not gold, but many yellow colors and some other nice colors. So overall, it's a good section of parts, in my opinion. Then you have the construction of the building, and well, it's a Titan, so obviously it's a little more complex than a canister set, and I think that it's quite okay. The body is interesting, even if once again it's a little thin, it's not really that bulky, it's a little weird because they just used a long technique beam for the main frame. So yeah, it's a little strange, weird in fact, but the legs are quite interesting. So in terms of building construction, the body frame is not, well, it's quite cool, and the same can be said for the legs. For the rest of the body, it's more simple and simpler and stuff like that. In fact, the other part of the body which is interesting is the hands, the very detailed hand, which can be quite useful for those who want to make the same in their Titan mugs. It can really be cool because, well, some really like to make hands for their mugs. And, well, it can be, it's a nice design. It works well, so it's okay. And so in terms of construction building, I think it's a Titan set, but you know, it's not that amazing because this part sometimes looks quite weird, and well, they could have been a little improved in some details. So personally, I will recommend to look up for the leg design, this type of thing on the body, but not on the body, because I think that the body is not that perfect, and also the hands, which are quite interesting. Then we have the articulations, and the big problems is the legs, of course, because, well, they put many things to make the body stronger, I guess, to make him all better, but it really blocks the articulations on this point and also on the knees, because the knees, like I said, are directly linked to the feet, and so this means you can't really make the pose you want. So sure, you can make some nice pose and all, but it will be sometimes quite hard, and you can't make all the poses you want with this Titan. And well, it's okay, it's a little disappointing, but apart from that, it's all right. The shoulder and the elbow are really well articulated, plus of course the head, which don't really have any problems, and also of course all the fingers, which got 1 point of rotation. It's really interesting. And finally, we got the overall design of this set. And well, I don't really know with the overall design of this set, guys. The problem I have, I think, is the body, which looks I don't really know how to say that, but you see that they try to make some V shape with the upper part of the body, but then they go all blocky with all this part right there, and it really looks a little strange in my opinion. Plus, then you have a neck which seems a little too long in my opinion, a little too tall, and so the head sometimes really looks just, if you look it on the front, it looks just ridiculous because you have big, really broad shoulders. Then you got this little thin head on the middle with a little long neck, and it looks quite, it doesn't really look that good. Then in things which do not really look that good, you also have this part on the front, which kind of is quite nice to of course, to cover the empty spaces, but I think it could have been done a little better. Then you have the sword, which is a little simple, in my opinion. It's really quite simple. And well, but apart from that, the legs design, except for these little things, is really okay, because this part really helps to to cover the empty spaces and make the leg bulkier. The feet also works pretty well, in my opinion. You also have the shield, which is really great. I like the shoulders, and the upper part of the body is quite interesting, even if the shoulders are too large. And so to conclude this review, guys, I'm just going to say that Tom Atami is a good Titan set. It's quite big. It's, I think, as big, maybe even taller than Tekken Yuva, which was released in 2008. And it shares some similarities with Tekken Yuva, by the way. But I think that this Titan, even if he's taller, bigger, and stuff like that, is maybe not the best, because personally, I think he have many little problems which really waste the experience of building and playing with this set, and also looking at it, because for me, well, like I said, the body itself is not that good looking in my opinion. So sure, they put many stuff to make the legs stronger and to make them all the rest of the body, but this part, on the other hand, blocks the articulations right there, and the articulations are also blocked on the knees. So it's also a little problem. Then you have some uninspired sword and some also uninspired other elements of design. The transition between the head and the shoulder is not really that good looking. So overall, the set got nice ideas, but also do some other ideas the bad ways. Like for example the color scheme, which could have been really better or improved. Like I said, the arms, the sword, stuff like that. So yeah, some good points like the hands, some elements of design, the legs, which I really like, but some other points which really waste this set. And well, it's really a shame, because it's Tom Atami. It's the Titan version of Natalie, what the fans really waited for. It's not that bad, but I think it could have been a little better. But well, that's how it works. It's Lego, so of course you can't really have the set of your dream, which is big with tons of parts and stuff like that. So well, it's a Titan set. It's pretty good, but seriously, I will recommend you to buy Takanuva instead, because I think Takanuva is cheaper than Natalie, because Natalie was quite rare to find, and personally when I last looked for it on eBay.com, I found just one set for like $100, and let's be clear, this set is totally not worth $100. So well, for me, it's a good set. Okay, but could have been better, and I can really recommend you to buy Takanuva instead if you want Titans quite big and with the same type of articulation, well, the same types of build, because Takanuva is a little better in my opinion. And that said, that's all for this video review, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask them. I will happily answer them. And that said, hope you enjoyed, guys, and see you later for another video review. Bye bye.